Alright, well, today I'm on my way, or this morning I'm on my way to work, but I thought I'd do a quick video about my GTO. I want to talk about some things that I like and some things that I don't necessarily like, in no particular order. As far as likes, though, I pretty much like almost everything about this car. There's very few things that I really don't like, but the biggest thing that I like about this car is that it's reliable. I've only had it for a little over a month now, which isn't necessarily a good amount of time to tell how reliable a vehicle is, but based on what people have reviewed about this, the GTOs, and then it just being a GM engine and drivetrain that's very well proven, I think the reliability aspect of it is pretty well covered. Compared to the Jag, I had to fix that thing at least once or twice a month, and it got to be very annoying, and that's why I ended up buying this car in place of it. Although it's slightly slower than the Jag, it's still a fast enough car for me. I don't really romp on it a whole lot. Let's see, some dislikes about the car, though. I guess my biggest dislike about this car has to do with the manual transmission. GM put a skip shift in. If you have a certain load range in first gear and throttle position, it will force you to go to fourth gear when you're changing out of first gear, and I really don't like that. I'd like to be able to choose the gear that I want without being forced to go into it. And so far, I've only used the skip shift probably once. I found that with the skip shift, I can, if it blocks me, I just move it up, the shifter up, and then back down in second gear, and it goes. So that's my way around it. I just wish I didn't have to have a way around it. So that's my biggest complaint. I guess another complaint I have is sometimes it feels like it's in gear, and I try to move forward and it grinds because it's not fully in gear. That's probably my bad, but every time that happens, it totally feels like it's in gear, and it's just not. It's only halfway in gear. That could be something to do with synchros wearing down with the amount of miles that are on it, which aren't much. It's 107,000 miles. But anyway, that's my other complaint about this car. I guess another one is there's only one power point in this car, or cigarette lighter. So, and there's so I use a Bluetooth thingy to connect to my stereo in here, which uses the cigarette lighter. Can't really charge my phone and use that at the same time. It hasn't really been an issue, but if it becomes an issue, then it's gonna suck. But it's a first world problem, I admit that. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all that I don't like about this car. There is a problem with it, though. It appears that the mass airflow sensor misreads, especially when cold, and at lower RPMs. So, like on a cold start, the engine will rev rough. When I first got it, and it was like 14 degrees outside, I started it, and it didn't want to stay running. It would almost die, and then recover itself, and then go back down to about 300 RPMs and almost die and then recover itself again. So that wasn't good. But this past weekend I took the airbox off and I sprayed the mass airflow sensor with some cleaner, and it seems to have not really solved the entire issue, but it has greatly helped. I haven't had the idling issues that it did have, at least not as bad. As far as power goes, this it has 50 less horsepower and 40 less pounds of torque, 48 less pounds of torque than the Jag, and you definitely feel that. But it's definitely sufficient, at least for me. I basically just use this as my daily driver, and I will be daily driving this thing until I get my Subaru fixed. And it's just really good daily driver car. It's very comfortable. It has all the amenities that I would like to have in a car. I'm not too choosy on those, but it's just a great car. And in the future, I'll probably do some kind of bolt-ons to it. Things that, like exhaust, for instance. I guess that's my other complaint. The stock exhaust is too quiet. I would really rather hear my exhaust, where I can't hear it at all while driving in the car. I hear the engine intake noise as I'm taking off and driving around, but which is good. It's got a girthy grumble to it, but I would much prefer to have some exhaust noise. And this may sound not so great, but I'd prefer to have even a little bit of drone. To me, some drone is good. Not a whole lot, but some is good. But I guess I kind of got used to that in the Jag. It had, I feel like, just the right amount of drone, and I really liked it. So I will be doing exhaust on this thing at some point, although that will have to wait a little while, as we are building a house at the moment, and almost all of our cash flow is going to fixing our current house, little things here and there, so that we can sell it, and then after that it'll be things that we need for the new house. So it'll have to wait till after we build the new house, but it will happen. I'm not 100% decided on what I want to go with, but tentatively at the moment I'm thinking I want to go with a MagnaFlow exhaust system, because it's got a deeper tone, those MagnaFlow, if you get the right MagnaFlow ones. I've had MagnaFlow in the past on my Bronco, and that thing was amazing. It just sounded so good. And I've watched a bunch of videos about videos of GTOs, 5.7s and 6.0s with MagnaFlow, and they sound great. So pretty sure that's where I'm gonna go. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I want to keep this car as close to stock as possible, though, or at least in a way that I can return it to stock quickly. If values rise enough on these cars, I wouldn't have a problem selling it and making a little bit of money on it. I eventually do want to get into a Mustang, but if values don't rise on these cars, I have no problem just keeping this thing forever. It's a great car. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. We're almost at 10 minutes. So yeah, I'll conclude that here, and then I'll do like probably a full review of this car in a future video. I'm working out some details on editing software and learning how to use said software. So I kind of want to learn that a little bit better before I do a full review of the car, because it'll require quite a bit of cutting and such. It can't just be all one take like these, like most of my videos have been so far. So be looking out for that. My 1 or 2 viewers, which includes me. So basically my one other other viewer, be looking out for a review of this 2004 GTO. Signing off.